This is Comic Run. I'm Justin.
I'm Matt.
I'm Kent.
Don't talk over each other. It's rude.
Sorry.
So, this is the podcast where we run to get comics and lunch 1 day a week, and we talk about nerdy stuff. So, what have we got for this week?
Matt, did you finally watch it?
I watched it. Tricksters.
Oh. So,
You know,
spoiler alert, the episode of Flash, Tricksters.
It's been 2 weeks. I mean,
yeah.
If anybody's watching this for Flash recaps, man, you are behind.
And I'm not going to post it for another week, so. Okay, Tricksters.
That was good. You know, you definitely see kind of Mark Hamill if he was a live-action Joker a little bit. You know.
Yeah.
Not.
You could tell he had to dial it back a little bit. He'd start to get the cadence of that laugh, and then he'd be like, just roll it off a little. It can't be full Joker. Never go full Joker.
I am a different character.
So, do you think Mark Hamill's going to recur?
I hope
Do you think the Tricksters are going to recur?
That'd be cool.
Like, I mean, he's not doing much,
They got
right?
to sneak in I'm your father.
I mean, he's only got Star Wars coming up.
I did like how in any of the reviews...
I mean, Mark Hamill is in the new Star Wars,
Yes.
Yeah,
right?
he's in the new Star Wars.
I mean, that's going to eat up the next rest of his life, right?
Well, no. He's only in the next one, and especially because Harrison Ford has to learn how to read and walk. That I don't think that they'll include.
They may already be done with their parts.
No, I think that they are.
Yeah. You know, if George Lucas has taught me anything, is that we can green screen those. He can green screen those legs in. Everything can be fixed in post. Digital characters are really awesome.
I think the cameo characters from the original movies, I think they may be done with their photography already. Because I mean, that movie's coming out in a year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see Mark, and maybe Mark Hamill sticks around as kind of that Jedi, like I'm the leader of the Jedi's, but I don't see his character being more than a cameo.
He may be a Jedi hermit at this point or something.
Yeah.
Although,
or flashbacks.
I'm totally cool with more Trickster, and I love the set pieces that you're talking about. You know, where they brought someone found fabric from that era, or
they rebuilt the costumes from the 90s Flash, 80s.
Yeah,
90s Flash, which only lasted for a season. Starred Flash's dad of the new show.
Which I liked in the reviews of how everybody's like, yeah, well, obviously they only kidnapped Barry's dad so they could have a scene together, which I totally approve of.
Yeah, total fan service, which I dig. I don't like the kid Flash, but I get the idea that they're totally Kid Trickster, because the second Trickster in the comics is panned by a lot of people. They hate his costume, they hate his attitude. Didn't even the villains murder him because they hated him so much? I think the Rogues murdered the second Trickster. Or tried to.
It's grim.
I think the Rogues tried to kill him because he did something.
I don't remember him being particularly. I mean,
he's just lame. You know, it's like, we have a 2-bit villain whose power is running on air, and we're going to have a spin-off of the 2-bit villain. So I like that he was kind of annoying, like when he was doing his little selfie speech on the top of the building. And,
the panoramic view.
And Hamill's just like, take off my mask! Take off my mask! Like losing his cool. I really like that episode.
There will be lots of tricks going on from the Trickster. I already
He did a trick or treat, something good to eat. You're like, what? Eat bombs? That you make no sense.
Your dad's better at this.
Your dad was way better.
It was interesting also to see the Harrison Wells, real Harrison Wells, I guess.
Yeah, well,
get shriveled up into a group. You know.
Yeah. Does anybody work on Flash that worked on?
The comics?
No.
Oh, sick burn.
Fringe, because the thing he used to duplicate Wells' DNA or whatever into his body, it's very reminiscent of how the doppelgangers worked at Fringe. They were they hinted that they were some kind of part machine or something. They came from the alternate timeline, and they would put this prong thing in the roof of their mouth and puncture the roof of their mouth, and then plug it in the other person, and it swapped their bodies. Yeah, but they needed periodic updates or they would start to degrade.
Well, cool scene.
But it totally looked like that device, except they stabbed it in the chest.
And it explains why, they didn't find his DNA all over the apartment. So.
Oh, good point.
Yeah. Writing themselves out of that problem.
Yeah. So, the other thing,
so, yeah.
So, my question is, we saw the flashback scene, there's a flash or there's an explosion or whatever. There's a event space-time. There's that warp when they both come out at high speed and appear at Barry's house in the past, child Barry. Flash and him fight inside the house. We know from the DNA that that's some version of adult Barry, but we don't know how old. We just know that he has...
And also a different uniform, too, or a different outfit.
Yeah, it was darker red, wasn't it?
No, it was darker red, but it also had the background of the lightning bolt on the costume was white.
Okay.
Or like gold.
I don't know.
So
And the creator, the showrunner, like mentioned that, like, hey, this is a different. Like, if you notice, this is a different outfit.
Well, they had that CG fight, and then they leave the house after one of them moves Barry to the street apparently, and then somewhere in the middle there we know Nora got murdered. Which Wells, when he murdered Cisco, which has been retconned, he said, I never meant for that to happen or something like that, or I never meant to kill her. He was trying to, which implied he was going to kill Barry. And then we see that Reverse Flash lost his powers.
Right.
So we don't know, did Flash make him lose his powers? Did he just burn them out because either he got them artificially or however he got them was not as stable as Barry?
There's only so much speed force that can go around.
He used, yeah. Did he burn his powers out? Were they artificial? Whatever. So he's trapped. But we never see what happened to future Barry. Did he tear space-time again and disappear? Why did he do it? Why were they fighting there? And how did they first meet? Is this Barry 30 years from now fighting a guy from 200 years in the future? So yeah, they've got me hooked on that whole thing. I want to know how it plays out, and I really hope they don't string it along for 2 seasons.
3 seasons. 7 seasons.
6 seasons in a movie.
How I Met Your Mother. Hey, we just keep ordering more seasons. So,
like I've said earlier on this podcast, that is like the worst of like, okay, yeah, we crammed all this stuff in on the front end, but oh man, then we just signed 3 seasons. Like, how do we?
We only had enough ideas for 2. No. Also, did get to watch Arrow last night, so that was interesting.
I'm not caught up on Arrow.
I'm not either. I just...
After he fought Ross I haven't seen it. Raish? How are they pronouncing it? Everybody does it different.
They're pronouncing it differently. They're pronouncing it as Raish, and there's something up with that.
It's been Ross in the animated series.
Yeah, they said Raish, and there's some reason that they said it, but like it has something to do with continuity and why they don't like mention Gotham at all.
And but I haven't seen any since that duel, and at some point I'm just gonna have to buy it and work through it during the off season of all the other shows. But I feel like it's kind of wobbling. I don't know, but I don't know how much I care about Arrow now. But the spinoff kind of looks interesting. But they still haven't given it a name. Is it Suicide Squad? Is it Justice Society? It's got characters from everything.
But it's awesome because they've got like the Atom in an Iron Man costume, which doesn't make any sense. But
well, the original Atom wasn't a shrinky yet large guy. He was a heavy hitter. He was like a Superman light. He bashed his way through things.
Well, that Atom sucks.
Yeah.
Shrinky guy.
Well, that's
the
Justice Society Atom.
We need more shrinky guys. We need more Ant-Man, more Atom.
Maybe they're avoiding it because of Ant-Man.
Maybe they keep shrinking away from the spotlight.
Well, they had one, but they lost
Shrinking violets.
They lost him in a petri dish in the fridge.
Then once we get Shrinky Guy, then we can have all our Honey, I Shrunk the Kids crossovers.
No.
I think that's
bad.
That's one of my favorite Walt Disney World things. The big giant Honey, I Shrunk the Kids
playground.
They're
getting rid of it. They're going to close it. It's probably going to be replaced with a Bug's Life one.
Well, it's awesome to be tiny in like this giant, like everything much bigger than you.
Yeah. Have you guys been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yes.
Okay, so did you catch the doublespeak in the episode from this week? If you haven't watched Afterlife, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., don't watch it yet. Or watch it and then come back to this. But, okay, the part where Fitz and Simmons are arguing about, he catches what she's doing on the monitor and goes and yells at her in the lab, and then he leaves.
Yep.
You haven't seen it?
No, I've seen it.
Okay.
I watched the episode.
So they're standing there, and he goes, "Did you think I wouldn't catch what you're up to?" or something like that. Watch the scene again now that you know that she's giving him the cue.
Oh, okay.
She's double speaking the entire time like a real spy. He goes, "You didn't think I'd catch," or he goes, "Why are you doing this? You didn't think I'd catch you?" And she goes, because she says something like, she goes, we have to get it out. Or he goes, well, the secrets inside that box are important. She goes, that's why we have to get them out, or we have to get it out. And she's telling him we have to get the box out of here. And what he caught on the monitor, she was scanning it to build the duplicate.
Oh.
She was going to fabricate it, and then she said, oh, I can do a genetic solution to get the secrets out of the box or whatever. And then he said something like, he questioned her on it, and then she makes a comment like, if we're still working for S.H.I.E.L.D., we have to do this. It's our job. And he's like, well, then you've already packed my bags for me or something like, or he's like, then you've already decided. And he's like, maybe I should just go. And she goes, I think you should, or something like that. Well, then when he gets outside, she already had passed off the cube and packed him a sandwich.
That was pretty awesome.
It was a really clever bit of doublespeak. You have to watch it once you know it, and it's totally, they're having a conversation no one else is catching. And a lot of people have pointed out that Gemma started as the worst liar on the show, and now she's got Bobby, who's probably the second best spy from May. She's got Bobby tricked. Like, Bobby doesn't even question that Gemma's undercover. She's like, oh yeah, she'll totally cave, and if we can get her to cave, then Fitz will cave.
Do you think we're going to see Mr. Hyde actually do a Mr. Hyde freak out?
I mean, they've implied that he's transformed off screen because we've seen him stand over a pile of bodies, with an entire room wrecked, but I want to see him Hulk out.
Mini Hulk, not quite Hulk.
He becomes a monstrous person at least. And then, apparently he knew his wife was alive. He doesn't seem shocked at all by the fact that she just showed up. Our daughter needs us. Can I see her? No.
You know what?
You're a real butt.
You know what this tells me is that both of them are shitty parents. I mean, let's just
Did you notice that she has scars on her face?
Yes. Probably.
Because she was vivisected?
I don't know.
Well, they cut her apart and took all her organs, and apparently she grew back.
Both shitty parents. That's all I got. That's what that was the takeaway.
You didn't bother to go look her up? Like, hey, you're probably going to get powers one day. Maybe we should bring you to our refuge in the mountains. No, we're just going to let you traipse around South America and get abducted by S.H.I.E.L.D.? Worst parents ever. It's interesting that they call their city Afterlife instead of, because they didn't, I don't know if they didn't want to use Adelon because it sounds too much like Atlantis.
Well, they've got a movie coming, so.
Yeah.
And we're back.
So you had a question about a phone, Matt?
Oh yeah, you were telling me about the new Android phone that's coming out?
Just that tomorrow's launch day for the Galaxy S6 and S6. I forget what they call it, the one with the rolled off edge. I think it's S6 Edge.
So
can you do VR on it?
Yes, the kit won't come out until the fall, but they have promised that the S6 will support Gear VR 2. So
done.
Because currently the Note 4 supports it, but the Note 4 launched about the same time as the iPhone 6 Plus, but it's a really big phablet, and this new one is
a phablet?
Yes.
Phone/tablet.
Phablet is a product category.
Get it?
It's an awful word, but it is a product category.
Not my product category.
Most people,
it's the product category you need.
The Note is it's coat pocket big or back jeans pocket big. It doesn't fit in your pants pocket
Mac
easily.
Mini or iPad Mini big?
No, it's not that big. It's like I think the glass is 5 point some inches and the whole thing's maybe 6 inches corner to corner. It's just a hair bigger than iPhone Plus, 6 Plus. Anyway, that one supports Gear VR on the current version of the headset, and then the new S6 and S6 Edge will both snap into Gear VR 2, which people are thinking September, October, somewhere in there. They haven't given a firm date, they just said later this year, and that's typically the time of year.
Just in time for Christmas.
They do those things.
It's April.
My question is whether they're going to ever support positional head tracking using the camera somehow on Gear VR, because right now you can look around, but you can't lean in or out. It doesn't have the ability to figure out where your head is in space. It just can tell how you're tilted. And that's kind of important for a lot of things. It makes it way more immersive when you can do the lean thing. The dev kit 2 supports that. And some developers are thinking that you might be able to put like some kind of tracker object in the room and have the camera on the phone figure out where you are from that.
So the camera on the phone's looking out to
the Gear VR supports, you can touch the trackpad on the side of it and and enable a see-through mode where the camera comes on and it gives you the ability to walk around like you're wearing goggles. Yeah, like you can see through it. So you can. I heard the Three Bins podcast guys talking about. They're like, "How long did you have your Gear VR before you went to the toilet wearing it?" And they were all like, "Oh yeah, first day." Because they're like, you're like playing a game and then you're like, "I gotta go." Boop. And you're walking through the house with this thing on, like looking through one eyepiece, sitting on the toilet, and like, now I'm on a beach. You can pretend to poo on a beach.
There's some awful pond scum coming up.
It'd be funny if they had a.
And then you end up like
when they recognize that you're on the toilet. There's a guy that comes out and tries to chase you away. What are you doing? Are you sitting on the beach? Oh God, get out of here, you vagrant!
They need to do a Gear VR experience, which is sitting on the diving board in The Last Man on Earth, like Phil's toilet pool. You just sit on the diving board.
Are you guys caught up on that?
No, I haven't been watching.
I'm up through what was the name? Moving In.
Yeah.
I haven't seen. I think there's a new one.
Then there's 2 more that come out this weekend.
Okay. I'm really enjoying that show, but Phil's so unlikable. Like
they're all unlikable. Actually, the guy and January Jones are the most likable people on that show. Right.
We've started using frickin' fit, or what's the frickin' Todd? Because Todd, like he says that a lot now. So it's like it's become a swear at my house where you're like, oh, we're out of milk. Frickin' Todd. Blame everything on Todd.
It is weird. Like they did. I like how they referenced. They didn't mention it in the first 6 episodes, but then when the cow shows up, they reference that there are no animals either.
Yeah, I never thought I'd see an animal again. Well, whatever this was killed the animals too? That's not good.
Yeah, that's actually pretty horrible. Like, why are they still alive?
I have more trouble with the fact that they're all wearing like hoodies and sweaters in Arizona. It's like I don't think it's sweater weather all summer in Tucson. At night, maybe.
I just like how they're all incredibly lazy.
What is there to do anymore except go get some more canned goods once a week? I like the little.
They're just like, fuck the door. This whole our biggest problem is getting rid of fecal waste because no one wants to deal with it.
Yeah. I think Phil's solution with the porta potty is probably the best one, though. I would have put it outside.
Kristen is going to motels,
mid-grade motels to poop. Ugh. She drives across town to go poop.
None of this makes me want to watch this show, by the way.
Really? It's funny as hell. I just like how he's watching. He's using a generator to power a big screen TV, and he's watching. He's watching Castaway, and Tom Hanks is screaming at the soccer or the volleyball. Wilson, and he's like, "That is so stupid. Come on, I will never talk to a soccer ball." And then it's 5 months later, and it shows him in a bar, and he's put faces on everything he can find, and he's talking to all of them.
Larry, Phil, Bob,
anybody want whiskey? I'm doing shots. No one? Okay, more for me.
And then even the people show up, and he still goes there. He's like, "I'm telling you guys, this freaking town guy's bullshit."
Yeah. I'm gonna twice baked potato that. He uses that term. He's gonna try and get glory for the same thing twice. He calls it the twice baked potato. It's a good show. I'm enjoying it.
So I can see it, and they come out with. You know what I really hope happens? Is hope at the end of the season they all 3 of them die. Like that, it becomes it's like, oh god damn it. Well, I'm alone again. Like that they can reboot it with 3 new people.
Somebody suggested that they just kill his character and continue with the other characters. Because he's kind of unlikable, but that's the point, is that he's
an incredibly lazy person who just happens to be the last person on not from any skill. It's not like Zombieland.
No.
Where it's like, alright, this is what you have to do to survive.
He was just the guy that didn't die from it. Whatever plague killed everyone. Now, speaking of unlikable characters, have you guys watched, what is the name of it? Is it Backstrom?
Yeah.
With
Rainn Wilson.
With Rainn Wilson as the unlikable cop.
I am waiting for that show to get good.
Yeah, I started watching one episode and I got like 40 minutes in or 30 minutes in and I was like, this isn't fun.
I've watched every episode because I watched House when it first came out, and House didn't get like really good until like
The problem is House was somewhat charming. He would be snarky and then he would be like, oh, yeah, maybe he's a good guy
then you're like,
down in the core.
on
hidden.
top of that, you being like, God damn it, he gets the job done. Like when 5 people are in a room and they've all been given the same information, House is always, it's like, got it. Here's why.
Yeah.
And it seems like with Backstrom, he's just like, he's a jerk, and the plot has naturally unfolded to everyone.
Right.
Because
I don't get why you would. He's not redeemable. That's the problem.
You didn't need to be a jerk to get that answer.
With House, you're like, you're broken because bad things happen to you, but deep down you were probably a nice guy at some point. Maybe we can redeem you by the end of the show, which no, probably not. But you had a little bit of hope that House wasn't a complete a-hole deep down. And Backstrom, you're like, you are a racist, bigoted, mean mother. And I just don't like him. I was like, this isn't fun. And the problem is it's not a great cop show without him. Like, it's not like watching, it's like every other procedural cop show. You're just like, oh, okay.
I found the killer.
Let's go talk to the first
clues.
People. Let's talk to the first people.
Some clue we didn't analyze in context now means more. And we caught him.
I think my favorite procedural cop science catch the bad guy show is definitely Bones.
Bones is pretty good.
I've never seen Bones.
That's a good show.
It's fantastic. Characters are interesting.
It's funny. It's funny and sometimes grim, but pretty funny.
You know, they write in just enough of like stuff that you see in the news that it like becomes somewhat topical for certain things, but you know.
All right, since we're talking about weird shows that not everybody's watched, what was the name of it? It's got Nick Frost in it, Hyperdrive. It was on Netflix last year. I don't know if it's still on there. It is in the vein of Star Trek, but Nick Frost is the captain.
Huh.
And it was horribly panned in England. They hated it. And people in the US thought it was hilarious. And so it was canceled. But it is, if you enjoyed Galaxy Quest, you'll probably like it.
Hyperfrost?
It's called Hyperdrive, and Nick Frost is the captain. And he watches these awful TV serials of a like really cheesy Buck Rogers style TV show, and he like idolizes this guy, and everyone's like, God, why do you watch this? They bring aliens on board the ship. They're like completely below the tech level of everyone else in the universe, and they're trying to like do a peace negotiation between the aliens that think everyone's inferior, the Vulcans, and these guys that just scream "Talkie door" every time the door speaks. Talkie door, talkie door. It's real weird, but it's fun.
In just one season?
Might have been 2 seasons, but they do short seasons, so I think it might have been like 12 or 15 episodes. It'll make you laugh.
I'm still waiting for Ed to come back for that. Yeah.
I don't know that show.
No, it was one of those. Or no, sorry, Earl. Jason.
My name is Earl?
Ago. Yeah, my name is Earl.
I thought that was canceled for forever.
It was canceled for forever, but they, in hopes of being able to make a few more episodes, they presented it to the TV network with a cliffhanger. And so they're like, all right, you guys have to let us at least have 3 episodes to properly wind everything up. And they're like, no, we don't. This is your finale? Are you guys sure? And they're like...
The first season of that was fun, and then I felt like it just got tired. Like, it wasn't funny anymore.
Yeah. They're like, yep, we're holding strong. This is our final episode. It's a cliffhanger. Like, okay, you guys are done.
What's that guy's name? It's
Jason.
Jason's... I can't think of his name. He's the guy
Lee.
Yep,
Jason Lee. And he plays Syndrome in The Incredibles. Which, they just confirmed this week that Brad Bird is starting work writing Incredibles 2.
Huh.
Because they've announced that the movie's going to get made. But
so we're going to get a really good Fantastic Four sequel.
Yes.
Sick burn.
I want to know if it's going to be a sequel or a prequel.
Doesn't matter.
I would love to see a prequel where it's all just about Elastigirl and Mr. Incredible and Frozone in the heyday. Or at least that the sequel has flashbacks and all that, which I'm sure it will.
You know, it's really sad that we can have 7 Fast and Furious movies, but yet, like, movies like this, they just don't toss out. Like, well.
It's animated, nobody will watch it.
Yeah, like, how much did the first one make? Well, we should probably like what? No, let's reboot Full House. You know.
Wait, Full House has gotten a reboot?
And Netflix is doing it.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Well, Netflix can afford it. They can afford Full House. They can't afford Incredibles 2.
Well,
you know they're making another season. They're doing another season of Arrested Development after that train wreck that was the last season.
I mean, hopefully they can. I think the biggest problem with that season of Arrested Development is that they announced it was the first content that Netflix was doing as original content, and they were like, okay, everybody's like, well, yeah, we still all want to do this. We're going to get paid. This is going to be great. We can't make it work. Like, we can't make the timelines work. And I think Netflix was like, well, we'll just all film you guys separately and have you guys all in your separate adventures and only do very few episodes done together. And
present it out of chronological order.
Because we already announced it, even though we're actually before filming. And I think if they announce, like, now that Netflix has regular stuff that's getting produced, like, they've proven that they can do original content.
Coming out Friday.
What?
Yeah.
Daredevil's Friday.
Yep. Then I think that they can go, okay, we're going to announce another season. Like, can we actually schedule to have all of you people here?
Do we have the money to actually get everyone to show up on the same day?
Yeah, like, can you guys at least commit to 2 weeks of, doing this at the same time? And hopefully that's a little bit better. But, I mean, still, like, how many movies does Disney flop out that aren't great,
Not that many anymore.
Yeah.
They've pared it down quite a bit. Did you hear CBS is rumored to be working on a new Star Trek? Like they're in the seeking talent and pitches phase. Yeah, it's only a rumor at this point, but it's popped up a couple of places, and they said it's been on and off since 2006. That when the movies came back strong, they were like, ooh, maybe we should do a TV series. But the stopper on it has always been, well, we don't want to kill the momentum on the movies, so the movies are the focus. But now there's talk that they may continue a TV series in the original series universe. Or a new one that runs in the movie universe.
Which I think was always the problem for the Next Generation movies. It was just kind of like, well, I don't watch the show, so...
They try not to do movies while the series is running. They try and do them after a series is wrapped and keep bringing the crew back.
Yeah. But it was just kind of one of those things of like, do I have to watch the show? I'm not going to know who these characters are, and clearly, I feel like if they came out with a Doctor Who movie, it'd be like,
There was one pitch called Star Trek Federation from many years back that apparently Bryan Singer was attached to as a producer, like in talks, and a lot of fans want to see it made, where they said they would jump forward 200 or more years after Voyager and DS9, and that the Federation would have basically shut down because of lack of interest of all the parties. That the Romulans and the Vulcans merge back together and just become kind of secluded science dudes that don't talk to anyone anymore. The Klingons are no longer warlike. They've become more of like Jedi. And that basically there's only a small group of Federation personnel maintaining the peace because the major wars are over. And then they throw out some crazy new threat like the Borg were to Next Generation and run with it. But this is all theoretical, and none of it's been confirmed by anybody in Hollywood. So, but I would watch that. It sounds good.
As long as it's science fiction.
Yeah.
Not, a pale aftermath.
It's not, you don't want it to be Fast and the Furious in the Star Trek universe.